Hi, I'm Wayne Dolick, and I'm the owner of San Diego Cutlery and knife store for San Diego Cutlery and McCall Cutlery. And I'm going to share a menu specialty that I really like, that was invented by a lady that won first place with it in Colorado in a cook-off. And she gave this recipe to my brother and myself, and I've used it many times. I've given it out to many of my friends and customers, and everybody loves it. This is called Mexican bean soup, and it's a cook and forget recipe. So once you get the initial preparation going, you're not going to sit there and slave over a hot stove the rest of the day. Just let it cook itself. So let me give you an idea of the ingredients to Mexican bean soup. First of all, you start out with 2 pounds of ground round. I like lean ground round, and we want to brown that up with some onions in a frying pan. That's your first ingredient. And then these are the other ingredients, which go into a big pot that's an open lid pot, and it cooks for 3 hours. But like I say, once you get it started, it pretty much cooks itself, and it comes out spectacular. It's just really good food. First ingredient you need is 16 ounces of paste chunky salsa. That's one of the ingredients that you're going to need. And you're going to need a package of enchilada sauce. Now, if you can't find a package of enchilada sauce, don't worry. You can use a can of it where it's already pre-prepared. It works just fine. I've done it both ways. You will need 2 cans of corn, 2 15-ounce cans of corn as part of the recipe. You're going to need a teaspoon of garlic. We're going to need 2 cans of chicken broth for the recipe that goes into the pot once we get the hamburger browned up. You're going to need a can of green chilies. Then you're going to need 3 kinds of beans for Mexican bean soup. The first kind is a black bean, 1 can. Second kind is the garbanzo bean, 1 can. And the third ingredient is kidney beans, 1 can. So those are pretty much your ingredients. And then on the natural side, you have a choice here. You can use 2 cans of diced tomatoes if you want, if it's easier for you. Or you can use the real thing. We'll dice them up and use the real thing today. Also, you'll need a sweet onion. 1 onion, you can use part of the onion for the ingredients and the other part for the browning up of the hamburger for the ground round. And you're going to need some, I like green onions for flavor, so I always add in green onions. And then you're going to need 2 pounds of hamburger to brown up for the initial ingredient. And then everything goes into a pot. And also, since we've got a few vegetables to dice up, I'm going to show you a couple of knives. These are new knives. This is made by ZHEN. This is high artwork as far as kitchen cutlery is concerned. It's great in a restaurant or great in the kitchen. It's a 67-layer Damascus steel 8-inch chef knife, which I find for the average person, you really don't need anything bigger than an 8-inch blade, especially women because they have small hands. This is an ideal size, 8-inch, 67-layer Damascus steel. It's beautiful artwork. And in the center, wedged in between the Damascus steel, is what they call VG10 steel. It's a very hard steel from Japan. It has a hardness of 62 Rockwell hardness. For you knife aficionados, you know this is very, very hard steel, and it's designed so that you can maintain a hard, sharp edge on this knife for a very long time in between sharpenings. The other knife I'm going to show you today is another one made by ZHEN, which is, if price point is important to you, it's the same knife quality. It has the VG10 core, but not as expensive to manufacture because of the 67 layers. So it's clad in stainless steel, nickel stainless steel, instead of the 67 layers of Damascus steel. So these are the 2 knives. I'm going to show you how they work today. And the next operation will be, I'm going to dice up an onion and we're going to use a couple of different bowls, and we'll put part of the ingredients in with the pot and part of the ingredients in with the browning up of the hamburger for you. So I'll give you all the ingredients at the end again when we're preparing to cook the food. And what we're going to do is we'll cook this. Once this is all prepared, you put it on a low heat and you leave the pot open the top open, and then you just cook it down like chili. It comes out like chili. You want it to be fairly thick, you know, the way chili is, and it's a great recipe, and I know you're going to love it when you cook it. Okay, here's the ZHEN knife with the 67 layers of Damascus steel. We're going to dice up this onion here a little bit. Very sharp knife. And let's dice this thing up here. Okay, well that goes in that bowl. And we'll use that part to cook up the hamburger. And then let's dice this one up. And what we'll do is we'll put this part in this bowl, and we'll go into the pot. And let's get these onions over here. We'll cut these things off. Okay, let's put some of these in with our hamburger, and the rest we can put in the other bowl. Okay, now let's see the other knife. This is the other knife I was telling you about that has the it's just regular standard stainless steel, and it's clad around the ZHEN core, and it's the same caliber of steel that the art design knife is, but it's a little less pricey. So let's get some tomatoes here. Peels. Okay. And let's see here. Do this. Okay, so that's our ingredients that's going to go into the frying pan. So what I'll do is finish all this up, and we'll get ready to brown up the hamburger with some onions, and then combine all the ingredients in a pot and let it cook up. And these are your two knives. These are two 8-inch chef knives made by ZHEN. This is the ZHEN core. This is a ZHEN core. This has Damascus steel, 67 layers. This is clad in stainless steel. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. These will be available in my knife store. Okay, well, I've spooned pretty much the last of the hamburger into the cooking pot here, and we're going to go through a checklist of all the ingredients we're going to add to this Mexican bean soup. We need to drain the pan, so I'm using a spoon that has holes in it. Like that. And here's the rest of the ingredients. Okay, now remember we used 2 cans of chicken broth. So there's your chicken broth. 2 cans of chicken broth. And all of the beans and the corn, everything has been drained and rinsed. Okay, so that you do want to drain and rinse your beans, especially your black beans and things. So here's your beans. Here's 1 can of garbanzo beans. Here's 1 can of black beans. They stick a little bit sometimes. And here's 1 can of kidney beans. And here's your 2 cans of corn. Here's your onions. Here's your tomatoes. Here's your can of green chilies. Here's 1 teaspoon of garlic. Here's your paste, salsa. And here's your enchilada sauce. Now what we'll do is stir this up and let it cook down on low temperature for 3 hours. So we're going to put our heat on. Put it on low. Put our pot here and let that cook. Now I'll set the timer on my microwave up here. And set it for 3 hours. And start. And let this cook up. And here is the finished product, Mexican bean soup. And we finish it off with a little dash of sour cream in the middle with good natural corn chips surrounding it. And man, is it good. Enjoy.